Hello and welcome to my channel and my video. This is baklava ma'ora. I'm making carrot cake. I have here 2 cups of shredded carrots. We got here a cake flour. This is the cake flour I'm gonna use, soft silk. So we have here 2.5 cups of cake flour with a half a teaspoon of ginger, ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Here we have our dry ingredients, and a half a teaspoon of salt, and whisk these together before you combine them with your wet ingredients. This does not need to be sifted because it's cake flour. So to this, we're gonna add our 2 cups of shredded carrots with 1.5 cups of white sugar, 3 eggs, 3 whole eggs. These are room temperature eggs. And it's a very quick recipe. Just combine these together. One of my favorite recipes. So easy to make. To this, we're gonna be adding 3/4 cup of mayo. Mayo keeps it moist. And 3/4 cup of chopped pecans. These are all our wet ingredients. Now that we combine all our wet ingredients, we're just gonna be adding our flour and just fold them. This is optional if you want to put some raisins, but that's your option as well. Goes well with it. But this time I'm just putting pecans, crushed pecans. I'm preheating my oven at 350. You can make this cake for a birthday party. Many people make this flavor. Just like that. It's so simple. Just make sure you combine all the flour. We have here a 9-inch pan that I'm gonna spray. I have parchment paper in the bottom of the pan, 9-inch ring, and just spray it. Bam, spray all of it. Bake this cake 28 to 32 minutes, 35 minutes like that, till it's toothpick dry. Don't over bake it because we don't want a dry cake. Just like that. Just dab, shake a little bit, all the air bubbles. And our cake, it's ready to go in the oven. Now we're making our cream cheese frosting, which is 8 ounces of softened room temperature cream cheese with 6 tablespoons of softened butter as well. And just whisk these together. To our cream cheese frosting, we're gonna be adding a tablespoon of vanilla. Nice tablespoon of vanilla with 2 tablespoons of whole milk and 2.5 cups of confectioner sugar. And we're gonna whisk these together till they're nice and smooth. Our milk is loosened it up. It's not too dense. And then we're gonna whisk this with a hand mixer till it's nice and smooth and creamy and not lumpy. But before you start mixing it, you just fold the sugar in here so it's not spread all over, because confectioner sugar goes everywhere. Our cake is done, so we're gonna do the toothpick test. When it's toothpick dry, this is what we want. We leave this to cool off at room temperature. So once it cools off, we're gonna put it on our wire rack. And then we're gonna cut it in half. So once your cake cools off, take a serrated knife and just cut it. In half. Make sure your cake is fully cool before you put your cream cheese frosting, because we don't want a runny frosting. Just like that. Cake. We leave it in a cooling rack. Remove the parchment paper. Leave it to cool off a little bit more. Look at that beautiful pecans and orange carrots. Now the cake is cool. We're gonna be moving it to our cake stand before we frost this. Now that our cake cooled off, put our cream cheese frosting. Second layer, we're gonna remove the top part. So this is the top layer of our cake, and we're moving it, making sure it's nice and flat at the top, so our cream cheese frosting doesn't slide off. And just this, we can use it for our crumbs and decorations. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Topping, and you could just crumble this, make it tiny little crumbs for the sides of the cake. I'm using a turntable, which is so much easier to spread your frosting on every cake. It just goes very quick. You put it all the way to the edges here. We don't want the sides to be frosted.